In this video, we're going to talk about controllables versus uncontrollables. I think regardless of what you do and what situation you're in, there are always a bunch of things that you can control and some other things that you cannot control. No matter who you are, no matter how much, power you have, there's just some things that are out of your control. And where I think most people lose their positivity or lose their great attitude and things like that is when you feel like you're out of control all the time. So what we look to do is to train you mentally how to be in more control, right? So the mental part is important when it comes to that. Now, throughout your days, there are some things that you have no control over, right? So things like traffic, weather, things like other people. I put other people / reactions, right? These are things that I cannot control. No matter how good of a person I am, no matter how great of a communicator I am, I cannot control those, right? Now, there are things you can control that aren't this, but are going to affect this. I can't control traffic, so in order for me to be on time to what I'm doing, I just have to wake up early. I have to be better with my time management, and that's going to solve that traffic issue indirectly, right? When it comes to the weather, that's just preparation. I have to wear what I need to perform to where I'm going, right? Back to that preparation thing we were talking about in the earlier video of the 8 great working habits again, right? So I say it all the time because at some point I did door-to-door sales as well, and I grew up in the Northeast where it gets really cold. Now, I've seen people have a lot of fun in the snow, and I've also seen people be miserable in the snow. The difference is the level of preparation. If I'm bundled up and I'm ready to go and I have the thickest socks and I have this and I have that, the weather is not an issue at this point. But if I'm unprepared, something that could have been fun, maybe skiing is fun, maybe snowboarding or whatever it is fun, but it becomes not fun because I was not as prepared as I should have been, right? So preparation is a big deal when it comes to solving the weather issue. And then other people. No matter how good at what I do, I can't control other people's reaction. I can't control what they say, what they do. I can have literally the best product, the best service, the best idea, and everything is not for everyone. So some people are just going to say no. But a lot of that has to do with the type of day that they're having that had nothing to do with you up until that point anyway. So try not to take things personal because you can't control that. Now, I'm not just going to tell you the things that you cannot control and not tell you the things that you do control, especially when it comes to the sales field. Here's what you should focus on: pitch, pace, and attitude. Those are the only things you can control. You can't control anything else. So I will focus on the things that I can control because I can't blame my lack of success on the things that I can't control. That's me being irresponsible and leaving my success into the hands of things that I can't control, which means I don't control my success, which is a really frustrating place to be. So I want to make sure I know how to control everything that can contribute to my success. So first is the pitch. That's the words I'm saying, how I'm saying it, using all the principles and stuff like that we already went over. So definitely make sure you're learning your pitch. You always have the ability to get better at your pitch. You always have the ability to practice more, to learn more stuff, to watch more of these videos, watch more, videos on YouTube or whatever source you go to get information that's going to make you a better and better communicator so your pitch resonates more. The next one's pace. Pace is how many people am I delivering this information to? So I can have gold, right? Solid gold. And I go to someone who does not have solid gold money and I can present this gold to them and they can say, no, I'm not interested. Why? Because they don't have solid gold money. Does that mean the gold is of lesser value? No, that was just the wrong buyer for the gold. So what that means is I have to present this product to as many people as possible. That's the only way I'm going to stand a chance of finding the right person. But what this also does is it makes me work on my communication skills. It makes me work on my people skills as well. So the more people I talk to, the more I'm able to diversify my communication tactics, which will make me a better communicator overall. And then the last part is having a great attitude. Now, it doesn't matter what I say, which is the pitch. It doesn't matter how many people I say it to. If my attitude is terrible, it's not going to work, right? Good attitude, the way I look at it, good attitude is how you approach other people. Great attitude is how you make other people feel. If your attitude is great, it's infectious. Other people are attracted to that. Everyone, ultimately, no matter how much of a negative person someone is, people always want to be around happier people. So I'm that person. I'm like that beacon of positivity in their day for the day, right? It doesn't really matter, but I want to approach every situation with such a positive attitude. And that positive attitude is not dependent on whether or not the customer receives me well or not. It's dependent on me. I'm deciding to have a positive attitude. So whether they say yes, they say say no, they say maybe, I'm going to still maintain a positive attitude anyway, because just because this person says no doesn't mean the next person is going to say no. Back to that analogy again, just because the person who doesn't have the money to afford gold says no doesn't mean my gold is of lesser value, so I should stop selling it. I just go to the next person and the next person until I find a buyer for the gold. Same thing, right? So if I approach the field with that same mentality, focusing all of my attention on the things that I can control and none of my attention on the things that I cannot control, I'll just find myself being a lot more excited about my days because I feel a lot more in control of where my career is heading. Cool? I'll see you in the next video.